Hello everyone and welcome to the VooPlayer Q&A weekly webinar call. We're going to get started here in just a minute, but before we do, if you can confirm that you can hear my voice as well as see my screen, which should say VooPlayer Q&A on it, and then we can get started. Thank you very much. Alrighty, sounds like we're getting some confirmations that both audio and video are good, so we can get started. So just a brief introduction. My name is Peter. I am VooPlayer's product manager, and we are holding these Q&A weekly calls in order to answer any questions that you as users may have, provide any training on any advanced features or use cases which you want to cover with video in your businesses, as well as to provide training, as I said, also to gather feedback on how we can improve Player, and also to showcase new stuff that we've been working on. So the format of the webinar is pretty straightforward. At any time that you have a question, or if you came prepared with any questions, you can just drop them in the chat box and we'll just start answering them in the order that they come in. So if you came prepared with any questions that you wanted to have discussed, then now would be a good time to drop them in the chat box. Also, if you are unable to attend one of these webinars, replays of the weekly webinars are available on our YouTube channel, on the VooPlayer YouTube channel, as well as in our Facebook group. So be sure to subscribe to that channel as well as to join that group in order to receive updates on webinars as well as other interesting announcements. What else did I want to mention? Oh yeah, so if you are unable to attend the webinar but you would like to have a question answered in advance, then you are more than welcome to pose that question either through our support channel or through that Facebook group. All right, I think that's basic housekeeping and notes out of the way. So a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention before getting to the questions is, as you know, we just wrapped up several intense weeks of the AppSumo promotion, which which ended up being the best reviewed AppSumo deal ever offered, which is something that we're pretty pleased about and proud of. So it's a huge validating factor for us that we're doing something good and that we're in a good way to keep improving VooPlayer. It was a very good learning opportunity for us in order to identify what's working well and what's not. And with thousands of new users that joined throughout those last couple of weeks, also rolled in a bunch of new feedback, which we're really grateful for on how we can keep improving VooPlayer. And with that, there also came some new features. So, or at least beta features, which if you took note of our release notes for July, at least, as I think those release notes are also covering a good part of August as well. There's been some new beta features allowing you to hide the replay play button, make the play button in a different position, control the skip and rewind options via the keyboard. A lot of new interesting stuff, as well as a lot of improvements to existing features, such as improvements to the migration, improvements to mobile playback, improvements to there's really a lot of stuff that's been improved, and all of that's also going to be included in the release notes. Couple of things worth mentioning. There are big updates to the both the S3 integration, working much more smoothly, connecting VooPlayer to your AWS S3, as well as the newly added ability to leverage that integration. I don't know if I have one on my account Let's just see if I do. Yes, being able to leverage that capability to upload to your own S3 storage when using the mass upload. So that's also one of the new enhancements that we rolled out. Updates to the SEO performance of WooPlayer videos, which is always important. So that's also one of the things that we've been working on. As I mentioned, tens and tens of new small enhancements and updates, which have been made thanks to a lot of the feedback that we received throughout these last few weeks. So at this time, we're kind of coming back to our normal pace and are getting back to our roadmap. So some of the things that were on there have been stagnating for these past few weeks, but we're excited that we're able to make some of those small improvements and are again ready to start tackling on the bigger picture stuff. All right, so with that in mind, that's just some of the things which I wanted to bring up, but now let's turn to your questions. So Jeff is asking, are there any recommended autoresponders for WooPlayer compatibility? Good question, Jeff. So with regards to natively supported via their APIs, which we know are working well, we would recommend using MailChimp, GetResponse, ActiveCampaign, Aweber, and basically most of supporters which are most providers which are providing an HTML form, and I think there's 10 or 20 different providers which are supported through the custom HTML form. Just today we added support for, I forgot its name, Mautic, whatever, however you pronounce that. Mautic. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Mautic. For this thing, we added support for that today as well via that custom HTML form. So we're continually adding support for the autoresponders through the HTML form. But as far as things which we know are pretty well covered are MailChimp, GetResponse, ActiveCampaign, and Aweber. Keeping in mind, as mostly we are customer driven, so what you use should kind of dictate on how you should integrate that. So if you have a popular autoresponder that you're using, but we're still not covering it, do reach out to us at support@wooplayer.com and say, hey, I would like to see an integration for so-and-so. Keeping in mind, actually, probably a better way to do that would be to come over here to submit and vote on ideas, and then check to see if perhaps nobody has still submitted an integration for that autoresponder or CRM, and then we can kind of prioritize that accordingly. Also worth mentioning is that all of the email interactions from WooPlayer are also supported not only through those autoresponder integrations, but also through the Zapier integration, which allows you to connect with thousands and thousands of different applications and hundreds of autoresponders, which are available in the Zapier library. So keep that in mind as well. Hopefully that answers your question, Jeff. Dean is saying, in the video page customization, there is no place to hide the video title. When viewed on a mobile device, it takes up a lot of real estate, as well as viewers may not understand what that is. Is there a way to hide it? I sent this to support. Thank you for contacting us and reporting this right at this moment. It cannot be changed. However, I'll forward this. Yeah, so I think I remember actually seeing that ticket, and it made a great deal of sense to me, because there is an option. I think we should treat it, but what I wanted to say is in the video settings themselves. So let me just get this video up. So in this video, and actually this is one of the testing videos, so let me just pick up a better one. I'll grab this one. Yeah, let's just grab this one. So in these videos, there is always an option to show the video title like this in the actual player. However, what Dave is asking about is about the watch page. There is a display, and the owner of this video has disabled. Let's re-enable really quickly. So on the watch page, aside from that title which is showed in the player, there's also notice at the bottom with the video title. So it made some sense to me initially that if this option was off, also this should be hidden, and that's not something that we have been covering thus far, but it's certainly a possibility that we can execute on that. However, I don't necessarily see that being somewhat conflicting with some use cases, especially considering that this is turned off by default. Whereas I think the best way to handle hiding of this on the embed page would be to provide an additional option similar to hide views count, also to have hide video title. So it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think that's something that we can definitely integrate. I do not have the title enabled. I know you don't. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure out what will be the best way to communicate hiding that. Would that control both the title in the video as well as on the page? But I think it's better to have a separate control on the video page strictly for the video title. So I think that's definitely something that's worth implementing, as I can see how that can become confusing for some people who don't necessarily know what it is or what it refers to. So that's definitely something that we can implement in the next release. I just noted that feedback, by the way. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I see some new people joining the webinar. I'm just observing from the back. Welcome everybody who's new to the webinar. Don't be shy to ask any questions. We've had some really basic questions which escalated to really complex discussions on what's doable and how it can be achieved and what will be the best way to execute on a particular use case. So we're welcoming all types of feedback, also welcoming all types of critique on things that you don't believe are working as good as they could be. So if you feel that something inside of WooPlayer can be improved or done a little bit better, we're also always welcoming that constructive feedback. Jeff is asking, how do we purchase SMS credits? So SMS credits are used in validating phone numbers for the SMS Capture Gate, which is a great tool to use if you want to capture your viewer's phone number to use it later on in your marketing campaigns or for any other purpose. However, to leverage that, you need to have SMS credits. And to purchase SMS credits, you can do that directly from your dashboard. So when you open up your dashboard over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see that you currently have however many credits you have, probably 0 by default, as well as an option to buy additional SMS credits directly from there. Also, this is available as well on your dashboard as well as in your profile. Same thing, basically. It's a great tool, as I mentioned, for capturing phone numbers. However, that validation of those phone numbers, the SMS that needs to be sent out, is a cost on our end. So we're just passing on that validation token as SMS credit, which you can purchase for individual validations. So hopefully that answers that as well. Let's see. No other questions. A quiet bunch today. Alrighty. I'll give it a couple of more minutes just in case that anybody's holding back. Jeff is saying, thanks. Are there any recommended WordPress frameworks for WooPlayer compatibility? Good question as well. I've seen a lot of people using Divi themes. I've seen a lot of people using the Elementor, or however that's called, builder. I've seen a lot of people using a whole bunch of different themes that are working really well with WooPlayer. Basically, I don't see any reason why WooPlayer shouldn't work with any WordPress theme or environment. We've had some really legacy systems pop up for different WooPlayer builders, and the best thing to keep in mind is that there might be an initial slight learning curve or an adaptation curve to accommodating WooPlayer. There's usually one piece of the puzzle, and it's a pretty big puzzle, that's maybe conflicting with a particular theme or a particular setting or a particular styling of a particular plugin or something like that. But once we identify where that conflict is coming from, and we're usually able to do that immediately, then it's smooth sailing from there. So as I said, I've seen a lot of people using a lot of popular frameworks, and thus far haven't really run into any issues which can't be solved by, at the worst, resolving some sort of a minor theme or plugin conflict. Dave is recommending it works really well with Divi by Elegant Themes using the code module. Yes, that's an excellent point that Dave brings up, is that a lot of these WordPress builders and themes have different elements which you can embed WooPlayer in, and a lot of people straight out of the gate usually just go to the video element that those providers are using. So the thing to keep in mind is that their videos are their video element is intended to work with providers such as YouTube, or alternatively by providing your own direct source to your video file. Whereas you should really consider WooPlayer as a HTML element which you are placing on your page. So always, if possible, be sure to use the custom HTML or code or custom HTML JavaScript element or something along those lines, rather than using the video or / media embed elements. Same applies to not only WordPress, but same applies to, we have a lot of people who are using Squarespace websites, ClickFunnels websites, what's that called, Wix websites, etc., and they also offer their own video elements, but WooPlayer's home is in that code / HTML custom element. Keep that in mind, Jeff. Armand is asking, are videos stored on S3 as secure as those stored on WooPlayer site? Yeah, absolutely. So when you are creating a new video and are coming over here to upload it, and you want to use your own storage, you, as with any video uploaded directly to WooPlayer, have the ability to secure or unsecure your video which is being encoded, but keeping in mind that this option is turned on by default. Every video which you upload to S3 through WooPlayer has the capacity and is by default protected. So that goes for all of the videos which you upload from WooPlayer to S3. However, one confusing point that people have with this is that they have existing videos on S3, and they come over here and just link to those videos from S3. And if those videos were not uploaded through WooPlayer, that means that they're not encoded. So the only reason why the security and protection of videos works really well for all of the uploaded videos is because we can only encode them if we control the upload process. And if you're using the upload to S3 feature, then it makes sense for us also to leverage that encoding capability. Mark is asking, how much trouble can I get into using someone else's video? That's an interesting question, and one that we particularly don't like to answer as we're not lawyers. But since it's been asked often, we've put together this little article out of the other people's videos. Let me just try and find it. Using other people's video content, which goes into some detail around some moral and ethical dilemmas around that. So I'll just defer you to that, because I don't necessarily want to get into the legalese. And Wool Player stance is really we're just offering a player in which you can serve your content, and thus you should really both take into consideration potential consequences of doing that, as well as be aware of any legal restrictions for doing so. Excuse me. All right. Are there any other questions? If not, we can wrap this up a little bit earlier today. I'll just start wrapping up, and if a question pops up, I'll stop. So I'll just want to say thank you for everybody who joined today and have taken their time to help us improve Wool Player. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody who came in from the AppSumo promotion throughout these last couple of weeks. I see some new people on the webinar, so I'm assuming that you are joining and you are interested in becoming an active part of the Wool Player and its development process, which is great. What else? Hopefully, we'll see you next week when we can continue this conversation. A lot of good questions came up today. Dave, I'll follow up with development regarding hiding that title from the watch page, and then we can hopefully get some more feedback next week on how we can keep improving further. So thanks once more, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye.